Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch.
From everyone here at Odden Charlet.
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch.
From our family to yours.
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
Thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch.
From everyone here at Odden Charlet.
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch.
From our family to yours.
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
Thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch.
From everyone here at Odden Charlet.
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch.
From our family to yours.
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
Thank you for choosing beef.
States of America. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Motion to approve the agenda as presented with the following modifications. Item E, executive session personnel. Item C, under action items, food service breakfast. Item D, personnel action. Item E, CTE project. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda with the following modifications? Thank you, Aaron. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public communications, we'll start out with Mr. Larson and Mr. Bloom. You guys are first up in the chute.
Good luck. All right. So we just had some concerns about the wrestling program with the future renovations that are going to be going on, and what the plan was for space utilized for the wrestling program, because we haven't really heard anything yet. So we just had some concerns. So we met actually as a booster club and kind of got a plan together ourselves, but we wanted to hear from you guys too if you guys had a plan also. So okay. We decided we were just concerned.
Sure.
Well, I can answer that question for you right away, and if you wait till item E, that might be discussed a little bit more under our action items. But yes, there have been tentative conversations in regards to that. Everything we've put out is on Bearcat TV. I do think the Reporter and Farmer has done a really good job of trying to stay abreast of it. Larry and Joel are our 2 points of contact on that. There have been different proposals. We're still working with the architect. There's a lot of different things that are going back and forth, but to answer your question, do we have ideas? Yes. Do we know a finished product? No. Do we know a finished product on anything yet? No. Is the conversation ongoing on everything that we're doing? Yes. Do we appreciate input from the community? Absolutely. We have a Citizens Advisory Board that has met on the issue. We want to make sure as much information is out there as possible. I hope that helps alleviate some of your concerns.
So would it be best for us to
stay?
I think Jim could maybe answer. There's going to be no changing from the wrestling room for at least a year.
Well, the demolition of the wrestling room and the vocational building
wouldn't happen for
is in phase 1 if we go forward with this whole thing.
On the tail end.
At the tail end. And so for the 2022-23 school year, we will need to use all of the 1950s wing. And so that would be while the project is being built on the south side. That's the intent. And so the question that you guys might have, and it could be concerning, is, okay, at what point will the demo occur? Because, if you do demo at the end of a school year in May, are you going to have anything built by the following year in the 23-24 school year? That's something we don't have answers for right now.
Does the demo include locker rooms, I assume? The old locker rooms?
The demolition would be everything from the north side of the precast walls.
Okay.
That's how we believe it at this point, and I want to be clear, we don't want to get misinformation out there.
Yeah. Right.
We don't know yet. I mean, we're still working through the plans.
Right.
So it's not like we're trying not to give you information.
No,
we don't know what it is yet.
No. Yep. We just want to make sure that when this time comes, because I know at the last board meeting, that was obviously the question as far as what direction are we going to have to go with the wrestling program?
Yep.
Where are we going to put you? And so, hypothetically speaking, if you say, well, we're going to have to put you in the elementary gym for a year, where's our locker rooms at? So, and I know you can say, well, go home and shower. Well, if you understand that wrestling is very much a contact sport, we try to encourage most of our guys to shower as soon as practice is over.
Sure.
So that's where some of those concerns come in.
Yep.
We've had discussion on, is it called selective demo?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've considered, is there a way to
Right.
keep the wrestling room the way it is and figure out how it fits into a new facility? We've talked about, is there a possibility that it would be constructed at the Armory? I mean, we've talked about all kinds of
Right.
scenarios.
Right.
That's why if you guys had another scenario that we haven't discussed, I'm all ears.
A standalone building over there in the corner parking lot. Just build it before you even tear it down, or just over there and done. If you want a scenario. I don't know if it's what you want to hear, but it would alleviate any concern of where the wrestling is for the next 70 plus years.
And I agree, Bo, 100%, but we also gotta look 7 years down the road and not hamstring any other future developments.
Right.
You know, so it's a complicated situation, and I gotta be honest, Larry and Dr. Block have put in a lot more time than I have on it, but you have to think down the road and try to
Right,
set
right.
yourself up for success in the future, and we're still trying to gather information and
Right.
back and forth with the architect and trying to come up with a budget and stay within a budget. It's a big process. So I hope you guys don't feel like we haven't been talking to you yet.
No,
There's
no,
gonna
I
be a
get it.
time.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a
some
time.
inconveniences.
We were just concerned.
No way around
I
it.
Yep,
mean,
yep, and rightfully so.
Yep.
And just, gentlemen, just so, I mean, I have to state it, I mean, number one focus of the school board is the education of the 539 students that are in this building.
100%.
Don't get me wrong, wrestling is very important, it is. But this is, you know, as we just said, it's a CTE project. The wrestling room is part of that because it's the last standalone sport that's
Right.
in the 1930s, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it is, gym. So we get it,
Yep.
but we wanna make sure you know that our focus has to still remain on the big picture, and that's the CTE portion, which
Yep.
obviously you would
Yep.
have a little bit of a vested interest in also, I
Yep.
would guess. So,
Does I don't know if I should ask this question, but I'm gonna, does the program have a preference where you would wanna be, here or there?
Well, we debated it out, and we would prefer to stay here because we are one of the only sports where the junior high is right along with the high school. And we just fear that if you move them down to the Armory, now we've got junior high kids having to walk when it's 10 below, 20 below, unless
Sure.
the school wants to provide some sort of busing.
Okay,
You know, because I don't think it's fair to put it on the varsity kids to make sure that they're providing transportation. You know, I believe they would, and we're a tight-knit enough
Mhm.
community to where I would just make my wrestlers do that, but I just don't think it's fair, if that makes sense.
yep,
no, let me just be devil's advocate on you that, Bo.
Yep.
Cross country and track, they've got junior high kids running varsity, don't they?
Yep, and they're never at 20 below.
I chuckle because
Fair.
I mean, that's essentially what it comes down to. I mean, I look at the 20 below.
And also you get everything down there at one time then, because basketball, boys and girls basketball, at the same time as wrestling, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, everybody's in one.
I chuckle a little because you talk, they can't walk down there, but then you're gonna run them like hell when you get them there.
Gotta be inside.
All right, gentlemen,
Good
we're
one,
gonna
Larry.
keep moving,
I like
otherwise we'll
that.
be here for a while. Anything else we can help you out? You guys good?
We're good.
Perfect. Thank you, we're gonna move on. Mr. Duenwald, you're next.
I'll try to be quick. First off, thanks for allowing the raffle to happen. Much appreciated. We met our goal. We have a brand new mat. I'll pass each one of you guys the new mat, what it's gonna look like. Our cherry on the top is what I call it. Because we've had a blue and pink mat from Bond Home for 6 years, used, and it got us through. But now we get to have state-of-the-art, brand new pole vault mat for our pole vault community. Okay, well, I'm glad this was all talked about because this is exactly why I'm here. We are in kind of the same boat with pole vault. Pole vault can start practice February 1st because it's a tougher sport to have practice with. You know, and you need practice for pole vault because it's a little more dangerous sport as well. So that's why they allow it to start February 1st. But with what all goes on in the Armory and any other gyms, obviously I cannot start practice February 1st. So I'm usually starting practice March 15th or later, depending on how the basketball season goes, wrestling, kids wrestling, any activities, playoffs for basketball that are using our armory, all that stuff. So I'm here to ask for your okay to put a box inside the Roslyn gym so that I'm allowed to start practice on February 1st. First off, I'm not here for money. I don't want any money. All I'm asking for is that you guys okay that I do the same thing that's at the armory. We have that lift out box, there's a box in the floor, and then you can put the cover back over when you're not using it. That's my intention, is to put a new box in the Roslyn gym so that I can start practice on February 1st. Because we have such a successful program, and it just, with what we got going on, currently I have 18 pole vaulters from junior high to high school. And that's not counting the incoming 7th graders. So any incoming 7th graders, if I get any more boys or girls from the 7th grade, my 18 number is gonna increase. And if I wait till March 15th to start practice with 21 pole vaulters or 20 pole vaulters, I'm gonna have to do like last year, and that's push the junior highs aside, not let them practice as much or very little, and just focus on my high schoolers, because I have 6 returning pole vaulters that all went to the state track meet last year, and all were ranked, and all now are ranked in the top 10. When seniors graduate coming into this year, they will all be ranked in the top 10 for girls and boys. So Class A, Webster has the best pole vault teams in the class right now, moving forward. Now we got to improve, obviously, but so we got the 6 returning plus the 9 at this point junior hires. That who knows who will all stay with it. I don't know that, but I'm going to gain a few more 7th graders, and it's going to take them a couple years to decide if they're in or out at that point. So the only thing I'm asking for your approval is because of insurance. Obviously, we need insurance that we have currently covering the pole vault to then extend to the Roslyn gym. So then I asked Lori to make a phone call, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, that if we add the Roslyn gym, there is little cost to add the Roslyn gym as a pole vault facility, as long as what I have presented to them, a correct box and correct mats and correct that. And we always have worn helmets and still will always wear helmets, even though that's not mandatory. It's mandatory under me that we do. But all of those safety precautions can go into place, but they will not allow it unless we extend our coverage to cover the Roslyn gym, because they can't get the coverage through the city of Roslyn. I went to the city of Roslyn, I've talked with them in their meeting, they have okayed that I put a box in their gym as long as it meets all the standards, obviously, of pole vault. Then also, now that we have 2 pole vault mats, I would just take the old pole vault mats, take them to Roslyn, they would stay in Roslyn forever, they're okay with storing them there, and I use those for those months of February and March when I'm not able to use the armory to practice. Whoever's available, I'm not going to take away from the basketball team or anybody that doesn't allow me to, with basketball going on or wrestling going on or any of that stuff. If that coach doesn't allow it, I'm not going to step on any toes, because I've never done that. And my son will play basketball and pole vault, hopefully, and I will not take him from basketball to pole vault. I never practiced pole vault until I was done with basketball, so same things there. But with the limitations of the armory and all the facilities we have, pole vault can't start till March 15th, and I don't want that to happen. So this allows me, with little kids wrestling having tournaments in end of March, beginning of April, they have to kick me out. That's okay. I want to move the stuff out of the way. Prom kicks me out for a week during April, and that's a tough time to be kicked out of the armory for a week, and I have no actual jumping going on. So I would use that week to go to Roslyn. Concerts, band, choir, they kick me out as well, and that's Patty Bally has done an amazing job with our music program, so I want her to have those concerts. And now that COVID's over, they want to have those concerts. Not over, sorry. That we're doing things. If we still are doing things, then they will want to have concerts, and I would want to see those concerts obviously happen. So I don't want to be moving things as much, so this would allow me to start practice, do open pit, do open vault, do open gym when I need to or want to, but then also on February 1st, when allowed to start practice, I can, so that I can practice junior high and high school, get them as many practices as possible, because 2 months is not enough time to practice for pole vault. So, like I said, City of Roslyn has okayed it, as long as we extend the insurance. A couple guarantees you have from me. If none of you know, I am building my house here in the Webster School District. I will become an actual Webster Bearcat.
You're honoring that original contract.
Finally, following through, 7 years ago, I stood in front of most of you and said, I'm gonna move my family here, I'm gonna be a Bearcat, I'm gonna bring pole vault here, I'm gonna make it successful. Did I think it'd be this successful? Heck no. I didn't think we'd have 18 pole vaulters. An option of 20 or plus, depending on how many 7th graders go out. I have a passion for this. Marty knows that pole vault is it's pretty much number one, busing's number 2 in my life. I'm sorry, but I love it. And these kids, they make me stay young, you know, with what's going on.
Well, you can tell they like it too. Otherwise, there wouldn't be that many of them.
We're the best in the state right now. Millbank is number 2. They're right behind us. Roncalli, both those places have indoor places. I think Millbank has this old gym they call the Odd or something like that. I don't know what they call it, but they leave their pole vault mats up. So they start practicing February 1st. Roncalli can go to Northern easily. You know, those things can happen. So I don't want to fall behind. I want to be number 1. I want our kids to be number 1. I have a passion for that, and this gives me the option for that without an expense, and a big expense. So,
Okay.
please.
Well, Kevin, I just wanted to let everybody know I did move Kevin up just because, I mean, figured we started talking about athletics and those type of things. I also saw Adam here. Just feel it's better to get it done right away. Before we turn it over to the board, Adam, do you have anything to add?
I've talked to Kevin about this. You know, our worries, and I don't really want to put him on the spot. I've had some other things. I don't know how much an issue is for transportation for the middle school kids to get up there and back. I'm sure that he has thought about it. Everything else, though, in all the questioning I had for him, you know, the product seems like it's good. This is not some sort of attempt to cut away at any other sport. This isn't some sort of thing. All this is focused on is using what you have when you have it, as soon as you can do it. So that's the only thing I really have to say about it. And then there was a monthly expense from the city of Roslyn.
There is, yeah. But I've talked with myself and the parents, obviously with us practicing there. I'm not worried. It's $1,000 a year is what they want for heating costs and things like that to heat the building. But I'm not asking for that to be paid for. I have a 3-year-old son who's got 15 years of pole vault left in him. And that's who I'm looking after right now. Is I want somewhere for him to take Pribble's record down. He's the chance.
Okay.
So don't. Like I said at the beginning, I didn't come here for money. The box, I've talked to a few parents, they're willing to help me out with putting the box in, doing that right, the concrete, all that stuff. And the yearly cost, that I'm sure the parents would be more than happy if they can get their kids in practicing help. If they don't, I love this so much, it's a passion of mine, I'm not going to worry about it. I will take care of it.
Jim, you got any comments?
The only questions that I have were, most of them been addressed, the annual cost for the facility. The only question that I would have with the facility is that an annual cost specifically for pole vault, or is that something where we could still, as a school, utilize the facility if there were some others that decided to do that? When you get people as passionate as you, they're willing to drive, and you know, in the past 10 years, we haven't had many willing to drive. We tried it right away in 2010, 2011, and we had some use of the facility up there, but it just, for whatever reason, it's for most people too inconvenient to go up there. And so I was just curious if you had that conversation with them.
And I didn't. I was going to ask them, does anybody else pay to use the building? And but I want pole vault. That's all I cared about. I didn't want to worry about, okay, who else? The 6th grade girls use the gym. Do they have to pay too? You know, but I didn't. It's not about throwing up red flags, but we can ask that. I agree that that's a yearly cost. They're willing to allow me to go in at any time and use it as long as, or I have to take the stuff down too when they have a wedding or stuff like that, but as long as they give me a heads up, I can move it out of the way. And
Otherwise, the only other things that I had was the insurance, transportation, frequency of use, those types of things.
And I'm sure most of the parents are willing to transportate as long as, like we do with a lot of programs, the summer program that Tobin put on, it's scheduled, so I know when we're doing this, and if not, I use one of my school buses, so we're covered, and haul 3 or 4 of them up there and haul them back, whatever. If they're willing to put in the time, I'm willing to put in the time.
Gentlemen, do you have questions for Kevin? I think, if you don't have a question, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna throw one plug in there for you, Kevin.
Yes.
I was on a road project 2 weeks ago, and I had an engineer come up to me and say, "Do you know this Dunewald guy in Webster?" As a matter of fact, I do. He goes, "I'm a former pole vaulter, and I think he's got something going in Webster." He says, "Get me 3 of them tickets." So I did. I got him three of your raffle tickets. So that was kind of a neat deal. That this engineer, he's not from around here. Doesn't have any connection to Webster. Knew that we had some things going on in pole vault. So good for you.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Any other questions, gentlemen? What I propose we do, Kevin, is we'll put this on as an action item here for our next board meeting. And I think that the board should consider, I respect that you're willing to fundraise for that $1,000, and that's good. We like it when organizations, but at the same time too, I still think as a district, we have a responsibility to provide certain facilities to our students. And I mean, that's what, I know you guys do a lot of fundraising, but I also hear from parents that say, boy, there's a lot of fundraising going on. And so I don't think that we necessarily have to commit you to paying that from here on out. And if you choose to fundraise to help offset it or invest in other things, that's a good thing. But we'll put that down as an action item for our next board meeting. We can hear back from the community if anybody has any questions, and I'm confident we can get an answer for you then at that point in time, if that sounds good, Kevin.
That sounds great to me.
Okay? Thank you very much. All right, conflicts disclosure. None? Motion to approve the minutes of our September 20th meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second? Thank you, Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the financial statements as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Marty. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second, Adam, you're not taking off, right?
No.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Discussion. I didn't have any issues with any of the claims. Anybody?
No, nothing new.
Okay.
What was the one here, the cooling system?
There were a whole, it was like a bill, it was all different areas. It was
Is this Johnson
kitchen.
Controls?
Yes.
Yeah. The kitchen unit had some issues. The south unit on the elementary had some issues. This unit right here in the library, just the 6th grade room.
Yeah, it was
it's just
numerous
a handful
areas.
of things.
Just so there was issues within the control system.
Like one was like a motor, one was a board,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. It's detailed on the invoice.
Okay.
It was multiple units.
Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to go into executive session for personnel. Thank you, Aaron. Second, Larry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll just leave the room. That makes it a little bit easier here. And we'll need Jim, Adam, and Lori to come along on that one.
Any estimate on time?
I wish I could, but can't guarantee it, buddy.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
and on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
and on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
and on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
and on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
and on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
and on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Auden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Auden Charlet,
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
From our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Everyone says they want to change the world.
But not everyone will.
We are not everyone.
The Galley Hotel Bar and Grill is on Highway 12 in Webster. Comfortable non-smoking rooms and their steakhouse and bar are open 7 days a week.
Join the team and take on your legacy. Since 1862, the South Dakota Army National Guard has been ready to defend our freedom and our way of life. When our nation calls, we are there to help our friends, neighbors, and communities in the event of forest fires, floods, tornadoes, and severe winter storms, right?
Back in regular session. Motion to approve to accept our snow removal bid.
So moved.
Thank you, Larry. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Joel. Discussion?
I see it went up slightly.
Yeah, and I had the last year's right behind it.
Yep. I still think it's a reasonable hourly rates. Has the service been good?
Yes, no problems.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Athletics, wrestling, did we cover that, or is there, oh, Adam, apologize. Athletics, wrestling, do we have anything new we're doing with wrestling here?
For the programs, we would like to add girls wrestling. We have a young lady that we know for sure wants to do it. We'll have a 6th grader who wants to join, and hopefully we're going to have some more follow suit. But I know our coaches are behind it. They're full-throated for it. They want to see the expansion of wrestling, and we get this girls program started. That's the end of that.
Okay, that sounds pretty easy to me. Questions for Adam? All in favor of adding girls wrestling to the athletic program, say aye.
I need a motion first.
Oh, I didn't have the motion on that? Apologize. Motion to add, thank you, Joel. Second. Thank you, Marty. You got the motion?
Got it.
All right, all in favor of adding girls wrestling to the athletics program, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thanks for correcting me, Lori. Thanks, Adam. Motion approved. Motion to approve modification of breakfast prices under our food service plan.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, but just to summarize where we're at, right now we charge 50 cents for our seconds at breakfast, correct?
Yes.
And in order for us to stay in compliance with all of the rules and regulations, you have to, the only thing you can give then for seconds for 50 cents is cereal. If we want to give seconds of other items, such
Main entree.
main entree, we have to be able to charge more, correct, Lori?
Yes,
Okay, so the recommendation is to do what, Lori?
to charge $1 for seconds for breakfast.
Across the board?
Yes,
Seconds are the only thing that anybody's charged for this year.
Yeah, but I mean, straight across.
yes.
I think it's extremely reasonable, and to be quite frank, from what I hear, kids actually really like the breakfast here. It's pretty popular. Am I correct on that? I think we should go ahead and do it. Any other discussion?
No, I'm good.
Good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Move to $1 on seconds. Motion to accept the resignation of Amanda Lesnar,
Amber.
Amber Lesnar, as assistant track coach upon finding a suitable replacement.
So moved.
Thank you, Larry. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Marty. I'll just read for the general public. To the Webster Area School, dated October 7th, 2021. I am writing this letter to inform you that I will be resigning from my position as assistant track coach. I am grateful for the experience gained throughout coaching. I do enjoy track. At this time in my life, I need to do what is best for my family. With a young child at home, I feel that I need to be home with her. We also have hopes of growing our family. I feel that my time will be better spent caring for my family. Thank you for the opportunity. Sincerely, Amber Lesnar. Any discussion?
And just to be clear, we're making a motion pending finding a suitable replacement.
Correct. This, if we do not find a suitable replacement, she will still need to fulfill the contract she has signed earlier this year.
It is
as to
her
assistant track.
contractual obligation.
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the resignation of Christina Christensen.
So move.
Thank you, Marty. Second?
Okay.
Thank you, Aaron. I'll read another letter that we received here today, October 11th, 2021. Dear Mr. Case, I am writing to notify you that I am resigning from my position as first grade teacher for the 2021-2022 school year at Webster Area School effective October 22nd, 2021. I am grateful for the opportunities that this school has provided me and have enjoyed my students over my 7 years of teaching here, but feel that it is time to move on to a new venture. Over the last several years, the stress of teaching has affected my overall health, and I've been looking for an alternative career path. It is unfortunate that the timing of this opportunity is during the school year, but I appreciate what the Webster Area School has provided me throughout my career and wish you all the best. I hope to make this transition as easy as possible for the school and students, and I'm willing to help my replacement in any way possible. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of the district for the past 7 years. Sincerely, Christina Christensen. Obviously, you can put 2 and 2 together. The reason we had executive session, we just received this letter of resignation here today. So the district knows, realistically, anywhere, any business, any employee, they always have the opportunity to leave. She's given us her 2 weeks notice, and we will begin working diligently to try to find a replacement. We understand, and we want to make sure that the district patrons know that, losing a first grade teacher essentially after the first quarter is difficult. And that it is a major concern. We'll do whatever we can. We've spoken with Jim and given him and Mr. Case direction to do whatever it takes to help us find the best replacements possible. We appreciate Mrs. Christensen's 7 years of service. But with that, we also have a couple items we do have to discuss. Open it up to the rest of the board because we do have to discuss naturally the penalty provision within the contract and any other action that could be taking place. So with that being said, turn it over to the board.
Well, like you said, Tom, I mean, the timing is unfortunate. I think she does have, obviously has the right to do whatever she needs to do, and we have the right to exercise the provisions within our contract, the penalties within our contract. I think we need to do that. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but I think that we should enforce those contractual obligations.
I guess the resignation, of course, she knows what she's doing and knows the liabilities that come with it. So, I guess the penalty, I would assume, would be there.
I agree with that. Teachers are not not easy to get anymore. Elementary teachers, if there was from a group that would probably have the biggest pool out there, would probably be elementary, but at this time of the year, it's going to be difficult. So, wish you guys the best with it, and hopefully things work out.
Aaron, do you have any comments?
No, I guess just if the contract states the penalties, then I think we need to go with them.
Okay.
What are the penalties?
Caleb, let me make sure I know what I'm saying before I quote on anything, okay? All right, gentlemen. Any further discussion?
Are we, some penalties that aren't applicable need not be used?
Yeah, I think that as a school district, matter of fact, I believe this was just the subject of a major write-up in the Argus Leader, in regards to teachers that have been disciplined for other reasons, not this type of situation, that no district has the ability to revoke teaching privileges. The only thing a district can do is recommend to the Department of Education that a teacher's privileges, certificate, can be revoked. Am I correct, Jim, when I say that?
That's correct.
We have done that in the past. But in this situation, I think we're all in agreement, Mrs. Christensen, while leaving us in a tough position, has been a good teacher for 7 years. And so at this point in time, we're in agreement that we're not going to recommend revocation of her teaching certificate. Correct, gentlemen?
Yes.
I would agree with that.
Okay. And what we'll do is we will stick with the financial penalties, which I believe are, and Lori, please correct me if I'm wrong, is $2,500, correct?
That's correct.
So that will be the financial penalty that will need to be levied in this situation to help us recover and get things in the future. And Caleb, if there's other questions, I got to hit you up later on, okay? But
And you touched on it earlier, Tom, but the district needs to know that we're taking this very seriously, and we're going to go out there and do the best that we can to find a replacement. Whether it be in the short term or long term, we're going to do what is best for the kids.
yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean, it's a big deal to lose a first grade teacher. No offense, I mean, tough to lose any teacher, any coach, or any position, but there is a difference between an assistant track coach that is coming up in March and our first grade teacher. That is a big deal. And we want the district to know that if we need to have special meetings, we will do so, Jim. Whatever it takes to help, find the best person, because that's what it comes down to, is the students that are in the class. So we will levy the financial penalty. I think that is an appropriate remedy as much as we can. It is the maximum amount we are allowed by contract, and we go from there.
So can I just play devil's advocate here a little bit, Tom? If we were to say we're not going to accept this and see where the chips fall, that would not allow us
Correct.
to start looking for a replacement. Is that right?
Correct. You know, everybody needs to also learn, we don't have contracts of adhesion. Anybody can pretty much walk away from any job they want in the United States of America. I mean, it's still a free country. You can pick up and move to Florida, California, Texas tomorrow, and we're pretty much out of luck. That's the way it is. At least we do have the 2 weeks' notice. At least it was tonight and not tomorrow. That way Jim does have as much time. But there is really no choice. We could choose not to accept the resignation, but then we're not advertising for 2 weeks. And then we're going to have to fill a position all of a sudden. And then you're also going to give, in my opinion, our school a bad name. Because no matter what, the teaching community is just like any other professional community. And people within those communities talk. And if teachers talk with each other and say, hey, that school isn't willing to work with you, even if something pops up, that could give us a bad name and not allow us to attract the quality teachers that we need. So again, it's fair, Joel, I'm glad you bring it up. If people have questions and issues about it, feel free to contact one of us. We're taking it extremely seriously. We wish we had a fix right now. Hopefully, Jim, you can wave a magic wand and come up with some good substitutes, and then we'll see where it takes us. Any other discussion? All in favor to accept the resignation of Christina Christensen with financial penalty by contract, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, moving on to CTE Project. I'll go ahead and turn that over to Joel, Larry, and Jim. However, whichever one of you wants to take that ball and run with it first. Since you looked up first, it means Joel.
So we're on the action item, not a discussion item?
Which actually, action items, because we will take action on it, yep.
Okay.
Yes, we are
That's
gonna
why I
go
was
with the action
confused.
item with the
I had it on
soil
the
boring,
discussion.
yep.
Yes.
Okay.
2 items, yep.
I guess I can start. So, Patty Munson is our architect from Architect Inc., and she contacted me, I think it was Thursday or Friday, probably Friday. And two of the things that we need to move forward with, if we want to continue to see this process move forward, is soil boring samples and then a site survey, those two things. Now, she did send, I had attached those to the email that I had sent to you. Of course, it was after our board packets were put together. The proposals for those, and has asked if we can approve those this evening so that we can get those projects scheduled to move forward with the rest. And so that is the purpose of that. That's the way the timing worked out with it. Do you want me to get into the other stuff? Because I had it in as a discussion item under mine, but we can just skip it there.
Let's just hit them, let's just hit with the, if it sounds
action
good.
items?
Yeah, let's hit the action items and then we can keep moving there from there. Any,
So I've looked over the three proposals, and I mean, they all look good to me, Larry. I don't know how you feel.
I'm familiar with Geotech, and I've worked with them in the past. And
Yep.
they're basically 7.25 a boring versus 1,050 on the other firm. But they aren't going to find anything unusual here with soil borings.
You don't think so?
You can pretty well assume when Patty said that price, they stick with it.
They will, okay.
We expect that they would.
The only other item that she had mentioned regarding this is that she needs to get the process going with whoever we choose to go with tonight, and go with her recommendations is what I would recommend, so that contact can be made, those things can be scheduled, and then while that's happening, she's hoping to finish some more finalized plans, even by the week's end. And with that, I'm pointing to the south here. Depending on where exactly the footprint of the building is going to be, they want to make sure they do soil borings in those particular areas, wherever a new facility might be.
Geotech did have 7 borings. They had 3 to the north, and then 1 over there, and the others here. The other firm had 9, but I think it's pretty representative of.
Was this in 04, 05 is what you're saying, or what? Or? recently.
No, in the
No,
proposal.
Proposal,
in the
proposal,
Okay.
yep.
That's what they proposed, 3 over here where the future of
Yeah.
the north, and the one by the entrance to the elementary over here, so I guess I'd make a motion that we accept Geotech's proposal.
I have a motion from Larry to accept the geotech engineering proposal for $5,100. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Marty.
Can I?
Yep.
It just seems like we're getting ahead of ourselves. I mean, should we not have more plans and costs and maybe some community meetings to get feedback before we start spending thousands of dollars on the testing?
Some of the plans now, of course, they're gonna need soil borings to develop some of the plans. For load bearing, that type of thing, for a structure like this. So that's why Patty would like to move forward on that, so they'd have that data in order for doing more design. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
If I can interject, I agree with you, Aaron. It almost seemed like this was getting the cart ahead of the horse.
Yeah, 'cause we've
But
already
Larry's
spent-
right, in the sense of, when they start talking about the footings and then, depending on where the building lies, they need Sayers' site plan to develop, what fill or what's needed out here to give us budgetary numbers. Because, she's given us some budgetary numbers that we all have, but now we want real numbers, right? Well, she can't give them to us without this information.
There might be something buried out there, this or that, and
Yeah.
if the plans, we accept the plan and then do the borings after the plan, that could all change too.
It's just a process, and it's been a long, drawn-out process, but you just gotta put one foot in front of the other and keep walking down that road. When it comes to, I'm more, Larry, you are more familiar with the geotech side of things, as you've done a lot of that in the past. I'm more familiar with the Sayer side of it, and that's kind of what I'm speaking to, Aaron, is they need to come out here, and I don't remember if the number was, I'm just gonna throw a number out of $50,000 to fix this parking lot. Was it 50,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 100,000? That's what she needs Sayer to come in, do the design, or, the layout, and then actually design what we need there. I would have liked to have had, maybe some more refined plans before we got to this, but as I've thought it through, I realize that she needs this information so she can take the next step.
I think we're all anxiously waiting
Yeah.
more revised plans.
And those revised plans can't come without this.
Correct. We'll get another set of revisions, but to get to her final stage, she needs this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion, so then let's talk about, Larry, you just discussed the geotech. Joel, then let's turn it over to you, and why don't you discuss what we're looking at with, is it Sayer?
Sayer and Associates out of Sioux Falls. I've worked with them. They do good work. The site survey seems within reason. I mean, what is I gotta read this through again, the additional survey area east of 2nd Street. We're not gonna do that right now, isn't that correct?
I'm of the opinion, correct.
Okay. So the fee is $7,850 to do the primary survey area. That's the on-site location here. They'll perform a topographic survey, the project area identified, ground elevation, trees, structures, utilities, pavement, and other topographical features. I would make a motion to accept that.
Okay.
So it's the same deal where they need this info before they can do anything else.
Yep. Well, I think we'll get another set of revisions in the meantime, but before we can get to the hard numbers and they need this before we can, yeah.
Okay, motion by Joel to approve the bid of $7,850 from Sayer Associates. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second of Larry. Discussion?
Okay, I see the additional, as we said, east. No. We're just doing the 7850.
That's what I think right now, yes.
Yeah, I don't know a reason why we would need to survey a east of Second. Any of you?
Well, they suggested a wrestling room over there, but.
And we don't know, I mean, that is one of the
At
things.
this point, no, but I don't wanna take it completely off the table if we have to look at that as some sort of an option.
What kind of survey is this one? I don't have the information. I mean, is this just like elevation surveying or what?
Utilities, elevations, you know, trees.
Topographical, everything.
All the topographical stuff.
So I was gonna say, I've got a laser. As far as giving you surveys, I can give you elevations pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's sewer tie, you know, everything.
right.
We've got to look, yeah, all the utilities. You know, I'll just say it, and I don't know that it came across at the last board meeting, but one of the things we're waiting on is an answer from Patty. We've thrown ideas at her to deal with the wrestling room, and that is one of the things we're kind of waiting on right now. We know if we're gonna tear that wing down, we gotta do something.
Well, gentlemen, so I've got a motion from Joel on the 7,850. I've got a second. Now we have the question as to the 3,000. What do you gentlemen want to do?
Well, do you have to do that now, or could we do that? You're talking for the east side of the street? Does that have to be approved now, or can that be done later?
I'm assuming it'd be like 7850 if it's done at a different time. They gotta come back and do it all again later. It's gonna be a more amount than just the 3,000 that's on here.
Unless moving the bus little garage across, if there's some reason for that, maybe some clarification.
Well, I'm not a contractor, but I would say there's no plumbing involved. There is electrical involved, and some concrete, but
There might be a shut off yet for that old house.
yeah,
That'd be about it.
something like that. But nothing, I can't imagine there'd be anything real serious with us moving that garage over there.
Realistically, you could probably do like a 511 and say you're drilling holes here, and their map should cover most of it.
Yeah, but you know how those architects are also. They're gonna say, yeah, for us to give you the plans, this is what we need.
Right.
They won't just do if we do something over there.
Personally, you know, I believe that by the time we would really need to know if we need to spend the 3,000, I'm hoping we got something back from Patty, and then we'd know whether or not we need to spend the 3,000.
I think she'll let us know if she needs it.
It is her recommendation in the email not to take the 3,000.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm good with the 7850.
You're good, Aaron?
Yes, but I mean, because we've discussed in the past and possibly utilizing that, so if it's 7850 just to get them to come, you'd do the 3,000 now, you'd have it for the future, but.
Yeah, but
I won't argue that.
Yeah, I can see that argument. I mean, I really, you know.
But the architect isn't recommending it, so.
I can see what you're saying, Aaron. I mean,
If is that how it is, 7850 for the first, I mean, it should come no matter what, not the size of the site.
yeah, it seems, I mean, I'm sure it's, like you said, you're showing up and that's your major portion, and if you want me to add on.
But we're not planning.
You'd have that survey for everything.
I'm not sure.
That's true too.
That is true.
Marty, what do you think?
Well, that's why I asked that earlier, you know, is it 7850? And then if they come back a second time, it's not gonna be 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I haven't been on this thing that long, but there has been talk of, was it 2 years ago we were talking about going across the street?
Well,
Yes.
vacating the street and everything.
Yeah.
That's a whole.
Well, I know, but something could happen, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it could,
But if something were to happen over there, I mean, this is kind of
we don't need.
not trying to downplay anything, but it's kind
We
of a
don't
drop in
need
the
it for
bucket
a
in the whole
project.
thing, so.
Since you've been so polite and respectful, usually members just jump in. What do you want to throw in, Mr. Bloom?
Well, I just want to say that part of our proposal, if we do get a wrestling room, you know, if we would like to build it over there. If we were ever to get one built, we think that would be an excellent location, if that helps you guys at all.
Well, you gotta find us a parking lot.
Well, if you build going straight out there, what are you gonna do with the rest of your playground?
We're fine there, if you look at the preliminary plans.
What's that?
The preliminary plans were virtually taking very little of the playground.
Right, the preliminary ones.
Joel, with respect to the construction part, and you know, mobility is huge for you guys with equipment and everything else. What is mobility like for Sayer and Associates? I mean, they bring a pickup up and.
No,
is that 3,000 going to be 3,000 if?
No, there would be an add-on.
Okay.
I don't know that it would be $7,850, but it would be more than 3,000.
But of course, when I read it, the additional is if we were planning to vacate Second Street or do something over there. And at this time, we're not.
I can see both sides. I've made a motion.
When we're talking the dollars that we're talking about spending, $3,000 to have the site surveyed and then you have it, whether you use it now or in 20 years, you'd have it.
All right,
20
all right.
years, you won't be using it.
Okay, so
You're not gonna use it in this 12 months.
So, can I ask one question, and I probably should know this from reviewing it. Is it both lots on east side, or is it just one?
It just
says east of Second Street.
Yeah, so to me, it'd be everything there.
We will just say, if we were to go forward, we say, we won't.
And I will just read Patty's comments. Also attached is a proposal for a site surveyor from Sayer here in Sioux Falls. The proposal is fair and what we expected, $7,850. And we would recommend approval. I had asked them for an add-on if we thought we needed to survey the parking lot across the street to the east. But I do not see a need to do this since we do not plan to cross or vacate Second Street at this time. I would recommend approval of the $7,850.
All right, so you're $7,850?
Yes, sir.
You're $7,850?
Well, yeah, that's what we hired an
Okay.
architect for.
You're $7,850, Aaron, plus the 3?
Yeah.
I'm throwing my hat in with Aaron because I think I like the way you're thinking.
I'm the same way.
So Marty, you're with the
3.
All right. So, go ahead.
I gotta say, we hired an architect for a reason, and I strongly think we should go with the advice of the professional that we hired for what they're recommending.
But the professional also doesn't know what might happen in the future yet. They're just thinking of this current project.
Well,
that
if
they're
you
drawing.
think this survey is good 2 years from now, I'll bet you what you want that it won't be.
So it'll change in 2 years?
Absolutely, when you don't get a survey or a design for a project, and then the next year or next month, you're doing another project and say, will you accept that old survey? They may and may not. I mean,
as long as nothing changes on the site, I would think the survey would still be good.
Your thoughts are correct, but Larry is correct. Because what if we take, another firm next time, or another contractor? They won't utilize each other's.
you're doing no soil borings on the east side of Second either.
That's a good point.
We're not doing any testing of any type over there either, so. I'm not quibbling over a few dollars, it's just.
I love this.
The process as we move forward, we're gonna have a lot of these large and small incremental fundings that pop up all the time.
So you're saying that if this survey is done and a different crew comes in and does the construction, say 10 years down the road, they might not accept the survey that
they won't.
They'll charge for a new survey at that time.
Oh, well then I'm gonna change mine.
And when it's
All
gonna
right,
be
so
new
you're
bid.
changing. All right, so whoa. Let's back the train up. Making my life hard, gentlemen.
Well, I'm just saying, we're gonna run into a lot of this, and we should discuss it.
I like it.
This is a great discussion.
That's what. Anybody that thinks that we're just a yes board really should come to our meetings more often.
Yeah.
Or anybody thinks that one person runs this board, not even close. I would recommend then, what we've got is, let's first of all just call the question. We had Joel with the motion. Larry, you had the second at the 7850. All right. We'll roll call the vote. Joel was aye. Tom was nay. Larry was?
Not to Joel's motion.
Yeah, it was. Joel was a
No.
7850.
Huh?
Joel was a 7850.
Okay, you can amend the motion if you.
I know.
If you wanna include the 3,000.
I'm not. We're just doing Joel's motion. We're not amending the motion. We're going to
Alright.
Joel's motion. You
I'm
were
aye.
aye. You were an aye. Aaron was a nay.
So you're saying what now?
We only have one motion, gentlemen.
Which is
only one motion on the table.
7850.
7850. Yep. Only. Yep. And I just.
I'm with Joel.
Yep. And so yes. So now it passes 3-2. 7850. Very simple. I did that one right. Mark that down.
Now you can do.
But I want to say, it was a good conversation, and I see both sides.
Yep.
But now you can do a motion for the 3,000. Correct?
Wow.
If
We
you
can.
want.
Do you want? All right. Motion for the 3,000. Aaron, you want to make that?
Let's just move on.
All right. I like what Aaron thinks too. I vote with Aaron on that one. All right.
I would just leave it open to the fact that if she comes back in a week or two and we need to go across the street, we can.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be here in the next week, I don't think.
No.
Very true.
You know, we can amend it then.
I like the conversation. Then I like the input also from the wrestling folks. I mean, obviously you have the most vested interest in that type of conversation. So thank you, Mr. Bloom. And I like it. Great conversation. It's good to lose
In
sometimes.
A week or two, I don't think you want them there, because then they're not busy enough.
All right. Anything else on the, okay, so Cte Project, moving on. Anything else we need to take action on tonight or discussion on tonight, Jim, Joel, Larry?
About any new plans.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
Hopefully, we get to call a special meeting or something here in the near future, in the next week or two, is my hopes. Would you agree with that, Jim?
Yes, yes. I'm just itching to get into my notes.
Okay.
Go ahead and do your notes then.
Are we?
Yeah, we're just
okay.
jumping right into your notes
All right.
on the Cte Project.
So I did ask Toby, because I had a couple of you guys and myself even questioning, okay, are we doing this process correct? How is this process working? Where are we at with this process? And where do we need to go and what do we need to do to get there? Because there's lots of folks that want to know, well, what are the plans? We haven't seen the plans. And it's almost like I feel like we're trying to keep secrets, and we are not trying to keep secrets. We don't have any plans that are updated from the original plans that we shared with our community committee, as well as, well, you guys got to see some, didn't you?
Yes.
I know Joel and Larry and I have. I've been involved with the whole process, and I really don't have a lot of answers for things. So they're coming, and that's what Patty keeps telling me, is that, this process is really gonna start moving quickly as we move forward. And so with respect to Toby Morris and Collier Associates, with them, we approved an amount in August, correct? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And so everything is where we can go as a school district with what we can afford, what we can legally take out for capital certificates without a bond issue. And so that part is still moving forward. He doesn't need anything from me now or this week or next week. It will continue to move forward. With respect to the architect, I'm just going to go through what Patty has provided with notes, and I just highlighted the email that she sent to me this afternoon. The soils and borings and the site surveys, things that she needed to have in order to kind of move forward to make sure that we can move the floor plan in different directions. The floor plans she's hoping to have to us by the week's end, with the suggestions that we got from Bo Larson, myself, Larry, Joel. Even though you didn't go on the tours, you've had quite a bit of conversation and discussion as to what we hope. And then Miss Vandervorst went with, and Fred Zink went with. And so we were able to see some neat programs, and it was everything from where hallways are located and where the storage room is located, all of those types of things. She's using those notes to come up with updated plans. One of the things that she has asked us to help her with is what area do we want to look at for solutions for the wrestling room. Now, she has provided the one on the south end, which pretty much got niched. Nobody likes that, south of the CTE program. There's been discussion about whether it should be added on to the armory and make everything down there. Then there's been discussion that we maybe need to look at a solution north of the precast walls for the current gym that we have here in the high school. Now with that, she talked about the same concerns these two brought up, is there either needs to be some restrooms slash locker rooms, showers, or something where people can change. And that's not just for wrestling, that would also be for junior high games, those types of things, if we continue to use the high school gym as an auxiliary gym for our middle school programs. She has said that maybe we try for a gym now with locker rooms and an existing auxiliary gym becomes the wrestling room. She's looking at, there's a little bit more traction back into maybe this gym here is better suited for the wrestling room, simply because it's not large enough for any varsity level basketball practices, not large enough for volleyball varsity practices. It's not the most useful gym. The size of it fits well for what we are currently using for wrestling. And could something there be repurposed? I had suggested that maybe there's a way of making a storage on a second story within that facility. These guys would prefer to have wrestling upstairs, which there's conversation about whether it's accessible, without an elevator, those types of things. But there's many wrestling rooms that are upstairs. Now, with new construction is where you probably run into the code issues, I would guess, or remodeling. So there's some traction there. She did say that if we were looking at maybe repurposing that gym and adding another auxiliary gym to take care of the loss of this particular gym, you could be looking at another $2 million added onto the project. Now, originally the price or the estimates that she gave was like 7.5 with the things that we were hoping to do. She said you're still falling in that 9.5, 9.7 range, but you're going to be pushing closer to your limit where you might be looking at a bond issue if you go above and beyond. Yeah, it says here, would the board consider going over the 9.5 if you were close to get what you wanted to get in phase one? Some of this is going to come down to, well, what is it that we want, what is it that we need, and what do we need sooner than later to address? And so you might have some more additional considerations in phase one versus phase two. She did say that here, what they're seeing, trends right now is that costs could be increasing another 10% by the time we bid the project. I don't know where that's coming from, but she stated that in this particular email.
They're going up
I
every
asked
day.
her for, pardon?
They're going up every day, and 80% of the schools in South Dakota are dealing with the same thing we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And so if we don't get this project moving, the competition is going to be less for our project.
So I asked her, are we still on target for our timeline? She said construction documents, we're looking at January, February with bidding in February/March, which should allow for construction to begin in March or April if we do move forward.
We need to start pushing.
So regarding the public, normally there's a separate meeting that's not just a regular Monday night board meeting where we do discuss it with the public. I personally, as soon as I have newer plans, I want to meet with our community committee. It's not a large committee, but I promised them that we would share with information that we would learn later on.
Is there a possibility that we can be involved in that committee or the community committee and some of the planning of?
The community committee has not really done anything for planning. They're just basically to help share the information. If they support the project, great. If they don't, we're fine with that as well. We just want them to have accurate information for sharing out in the community. So they haven't really been involved in the sense like we have with the teachers and the two board members that where we're discussing plans and different things like that. Can you be? Yes, but I will say this, Patty has said it many, many times. The more people you get involved, the longer this process will take.
100%. But how many people in this room have been in a northern wrestling room or a wrestling room in other towns?
I feel, well, to answer your question, we haven't, but they have.
Sure.
And I'm also going to tell you that they tell us Webster has the biggest wrestling room of any high school in the state of South Dakota. Do you want to build it that big? So those are the questions we're being asked. When I sit here and I say we need to push, I don't mean push the project through. I mean push the architect to get us some information so that we can start making some decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I think rest assured, from the wrestling's perspective, everything we have done as a board since we first started talking about these things has been done on Bearcat TV. Every one of those meetings, you can go back and you can rewind and look at the conversation from even when we had, and I forget the other architectural firm up here. ISG. You know, the question was asked, should we invest the money into the old VOTEC wing and update and remodel it? And their own experts said, no, do not invest in remodeling. It's not a good investment. Everything we've done has been in the light. Everything's been done here in the Report of Farmer. We have these conversations. We disagree, obviously. We got a 3-2 vote, and then somebody changes their mind, and all of a sudden we got a 3-2 vote the other way. It's great. I feel comfortable that you guys should know that anything we do or don't do is obviously going to include the stakeholders from the wrestling community, just as it's going to include the CTE stakeholders, just as it's going to include anybody that has a vested interest, which is the community. We need to have these open meetings.
We're putting a lot of information tonight.
Yes.
Wrestling room. There's a lot more to this than just a wrestling room or a space for the wrestlers, you know.
And we totally understand that. We just...
You'll be included.
You guys will be included.
There's no question about that.
That's the only concern we had is we kind of heard, you know how it is in a small town. We heard through the down the pool that, well, I hope you guys got a plan together because nobody knows what's going on. And I said, well, we need to get involved then. So, because we want our program, you know, our program is here. We want it to keep on growing because we, as everybody knows, the Webster wrestling community, we're pretty tight knit, and we want to be able to.
Some call it a mafia.
Well, hey, but you know, we just want to make sure our kids are taken care of. You know, and that's, we don't want to make waves for anybody at all. We just want to make sure that our kids are taken care of.
I would like you to tell, when people tell you, well, I hope you have a plan, because I don't know if they do. I would like to remind those people that one of the dons of your mafia kingdom, whose picture is up in the armory, has been at every one of our meetings. I run sprints when I go down the armory in the mornings for all of those wrestling championship pictures up there. I don't think any board member is going to just say, well, you know, a wrestling room looks great like that, and not have a conversation with the wrestlers. Anybody that says that really should reconsider what they're thinking.
There's a lot of extracurricular things that we need to deal with.
Yes.
I mean,
100%.
But I can also tell you, I spoke recently at a local meeting, and that was the tone that I got was, oh, so we're going to start adding on gyms, and we're going to start. It went to the athletic frustration because we have put a lot of emphasis in athletic facilities in the last decade, and so there are those folks out there too. So we contend with all of it. We try to find the balance and really look at the needs of all of our
And
programs.
I respect all that, but when like these other athletic facilities that got redone, they haven't been redone for probably 50 years and probably should have been done. So I mean, it's legit.
I want to go back to your email there. You know, you talked about, she said it was going to be another $2, you know, roughly speaking here, the extra $2 million. Is that just for a wrestling room, or is that for an auxiliary gym with a wrestling room?
This says here maybe looking at a gym now with locker rooms and existing auxiliary gym becoming a wrestling room. And then later down below she says something about We haven't included a new wrestling room or locker rooms, and so that would increase for any sort of additional space. So she's considering wrestling room, locker rooms, and then now if we repurpose this gym, you've got to look at some sort of another gym.
Right.
So
I think once we get this proposal that he's got, you know, this email about, once we get that back, we can start, you know, having some real conversations, because we're gonna have some square footages to look at, some price per square foot to look at, so we can start creating our budget and start creating the floor plan that we can afford.
Agree. The one thing that I'm gonna come back to was the, she said with a bid process in February, March, Jim?
Yeah, it says for completion of the construction documents, we're looking at a January, February, with bidding in February, March, which should allow for construction to begin in March, April.
I gotta be honest with you, I'm concerned with that timeline. I would rather be at the beginning of the timeline rather than at the end of the timeline. I want sharp pencils, and I have concerns that you'll have people that'll be out there. Every school district is out there doing the exact same thing with the COVID funds. I mean, there was just an article, I don't know if many of you saw it in the Aberdeen American News a couple weeks ago about states, other school districts in other states. All they were doing was remodeling football facilities, and there was issues that none of it was going towards education. As we've said, and Larry has made it very clear, this is a CTE project. Wrestling room is a part of it. Other school districts, if we get down to it, we don't have competitive bids, we may find ourselves not doing a project even though we've gone through all of this work. So I think, Jim, I would like to let Patty know that we want that timeline pushed up. We need to get the information back to the people, back to the community, so that people can have an informed decision made. I mean, I think that needs to be moved up by at least a month or.
And I think we have the right to do that.
Yeah. I think it needs to be pushed. Because we want competitive bids, we want the best bids we can get, we want to have time to make informed decisions. You know, the other thing is if somebody's watching this right now and they think that 100% of decisions have been made, they haven't. You know, we're right now discussing where we're gonna go, trying to make the best decision for the community. And if the numbers don't come back right, or the project doesn't come back right, well, then we go back and hit the reset button. But Jim, I think the message needs to go back to her that timeline needs to be moved up.
Okay, I've got 3 items here. Sharpen pencil, beginning of the timeline is where we're looking at. Number 2, I think she needs to give us, and I believe this is what she's going to do, because we have to decide what we can and can't afford. She needs to give us plans with the high school gym being repurposed as a wrestling room with the other solutions of an auxiliary gym and locker rooms. That's one option. And the other is a wrestling room as a new facility on the north side along with locker rooms. Correct? Or is there anything else?
That'll start.
That's
a start.
Larry, you're good. How about you, Aaron? You good with that?
Yep.
Marty?
Yeah.
I think the sports facilities will get done right. My big thing is figuring out how we get that CTE wing in here as soon as possible on the south end. All right. Anything else to discuss on the CTE project?
Gonna find a home for Lori.
Thinking about getting a trailer camper, just parking along the side, new business office, Larry said. You didn't see that one on the side of the, don't worry about it, Lori. It'll all be good.
I'm missing out on something.
All right, moving on to discussion items. And if you stick around, gentlemen, we can help you out with that later on if you stick around. Athletics pole vault, I think we've discussed. Superintendent report, Dr. Block.
The first item I have here is a media platform. I was actually approached by Chase Shoemaker regarding a request to get permission to build a new media platform for Bearcat TV in the Armory. It would be something similar to what Groton has, and it sounds like there would be no cost to the school. There's a process that they can go through to help pay for the materials, and I don't know, is your class possibly going to be involved?
Either my class or the robotics team.
Okay. robotics team. So we've got some folks that could work on it. But the first question that I asked was, how much space would it take up on the bleachers? Not that we fill the armory to capacity, but that's a good question to have, I think. And actually in our discussion, Chase had said that it might be better for this platform to be on our side of the bleachers, so it would be above our crowd. And I guess in thinking about that in our discussion, I don't think that's a bad idea. The only concern that I would have is we'd have to make sure we keep our little elementary kids from running around back and forth and everything else, but that's not hard to do if we can get some support from parents.
What's the thought there of having it on the other side?
See the bench?
So you can see the bench. Okay. But then you're not going to see our crowd.
Bring the cheerleaders into view. People ask for pictures of the cheerleader, and all we see is the back of their cheers.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I think perhaps, you make it large enough, but it'd probably be for us, and then the opposing.
That's the other
folks would
issue,
be on
is
their own
sharing
side.
space with other broadcast teams.
Because if you don't have like we have at the football field where you've got the boxes and separate walls, there's a little bit of carryover between there can be some carryover with you guys talking to them or them talking to you or being too close. That was my take on it. Was that it just, Webster Bearcats are on that side with Bearcat TV, and then anybody else that comes to broadcast, whether it's radio or anything else, would be on the other side. One thing we didn't talk about, Chase, that just came to my mind is we probably have to do something with connections, because they're all on the east side, right? Do you connect directly to things? Everything's all just need power.
And there's power up there already.
Okay. So, anyway, it's a discussion item.
Rafters?
There's a way to mount it where the bleachers will still go in fully and out fully.
Yeah, the top two bleachers stay out permanently. It does not completely go into the very top bleachers. There's always the very top bleacher and one other bleacher down. I believe it is.
Yep.
As they do now.
No, it does. It does. Because we talked about attaching it to the wall, and then where that first bleacher is having legs, and then it cantilever over, 2 feet or so.
Well, just sort of conversation purposes, discussion, not one way or the other, but, like Joel said, one thing that is kind of nice, you do see the crowd when you're over there. It gives a good view of the armory and also just the community. I do like the idea of it still being able to see the crowd, see the students, see that. And the other thing, and I still remember back in the day that when we've had successful programs, that side of the bleachers can get awfully full. It would be nice that if we are going to take up space, it's on,
yes.
To be honest with you, the visitor side. I don't remember what year it was that we played Millbank in that girls region championship to go state where you couldn't fit another person in the building. They were sitting on the stair steps and they were sitting on the floor, and what a great thing. And if they're going to take up space, and I think it's a great idea to do this platform, just being honest, take it up on the visitor section. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part, but I'm good with that wish. Even wrestling, when you guys that place gets full.
Yeah. Our holiday tournament, so what, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were just talking about our kids tournament that we put on every year, that there's probably 1,500 people in that building.
Yeah. I'd like to, that's the only reason I'd say if we can, but you guys are the experts. I think it's a good idea to do the media platform. Wherever it goes, it goes. What else we got, Jim?
COVID cases, I really don't have any new information from last month. We don't have any new positive cases within school. There have been additional close contacts that have been associated with people outside of school. But for the most part, it's actually going quite well. I'm a bit surprised, but it's nice. We have had some other illnesses in which kids are having some cold and cough and type things like that, and they have been tested. With all of those illnesses, as far as I'm aware, nobody's tested positive, because usually when they go in for those things and have similar symptoms, they're being tested for COVID. So right now I don't have anything new with respect to COVID.
Did the school receive any test kits for the kids?
We have test kits that we can send home. They're like over-the-counter test kits. Again, we didn't advertise that because there's only like, I'm gonna say 80 of them.
Well,
And if we advertise, poof, they're gone, and then we don't have.
I'm
So
aware
we're,
of schools that are sending test kits home for the kids, like 2 a week.
no, we don't.
Where
If there is a program, we didn't
where are
sign
they
up for
coming
that.
from?
The thing about the tests that go home, they're over the counter, you can't control anything. And typically, when you do test positive, they're gonna do a test at the clinic anyway, or
I just
somewhere
wanted to
else,
clarify,
so.
because I do know the school where is sending these test kits home for the kids.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of test kits.
I'm not aware that we could get that many. Like I said, we do have test kits and we can send them home, but we're not advertising this, we want everybody to take a test kit. If they're ill and they would like to test at home, they just need to contact their school nurse. Again, we're not going to administer those tests. I just don't want our school to get into the business of testing all of our students. Our nurse does test our staff. And we've had, I guess that is one piece of information I could add, is we probably had 2 or 3 since last month, staff members that have been tested and they've all been negative. There's not been a positive test in-house since school started, so, with staff members. Good point.
Okay.
The personnel record forms is just an FYI. This is required by the state, and basically it lists the years of experience, the salary, and then the teaching assignments for each of the teachers. And then I have to do things for bus drivers to make sure we have all of our bus drivers certified, whether we contract with Cheyenne or we have our own, which drive the midbus. So those things are complete. There will be some changes with some of the action that was taken tonight, but I'll have to change those in the spring when they open it up, because once I submit in the fall, I can't change it again until they open it up. And then I'm doing the CRC. So help me out, Lori. I love this one. Civil rights data collection. That's what the CRDC is. We usually have to do this every year, but we didn't have to do it last year or the previous year. So I've not done it since 2019. Very extensive. For us, we really don't have a lot of diversity in our school, but it basically is everything from the number of white students we have, the number of Hispanic students, whether or not they're special ed, whether or not they pass algebra, whether or not they pass geometry, all kinds of things. So it's an extensive report, and I have to ask Lori and the secretaries and Mr. Case and all kinds of people for lots of information to complete that. It's a national data collection, and they just throw our information into the whole scene. So it's just an FYI to you that I'm working on that. So if I sound busy, I might be working on that sometimes. That's all I have under that particular part. Buildings and grounds, we've already discussed most of those items.
Let's go on. We'll just hit, Mr. Case is unable to be here tonight. We'll just keep moving on. Dr. Block, thank you. NESC?
They had their meeting while we were having our last one, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did attend the superintendent's meeting, and so I do have some items here. They provided us some information about SPED review process, and I will say that our new director she's pretty good about determining what we may experience and what they may ask us for, and she's trying to prepare each of the school districts for the review process, and so hopefully we'll be better prepared for that process when it does come forward. There was some discussion regarding school psychologists and school psychologist examiners. We currently use both, and the co-op uses quite a few school psych examiners. They are the people that are able to basically review the test information on students to help determine if they qualify for special ed. There must be, I don't know if it's just within the state or if it's a national thing, but there must be kind of a push towards not allowing school psych examiners to be able to read those and interpret them and make decisions for the students. That would be significant for us in South Dakota because we use a lot of psych examiners. Difference is somebody that maybe has an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree versus a master's degree, and there are fewer and fewer school psychs out there. So Tim Fruing, the assistant director, provided a lot of data and some articles that defend what we're currently doing. So I think at their level, they're really pushing to keep things the way they are, because it's a resource that we're able to use, and it might limit us if we see changes. The other thing that we have here, I'm going to put forward an independent education evaluations policy proposal. And our discussion at the superintendent's meeting was to probably place that policy not in our policy manual, but in our comprehensive plan. The document that I ask you folks to approve every July, it is a significant size document, but this would be associated with what parents have for a right for if we were to do some sort of an evaluation for special ed, and the student didn't qualify, or if they didn't really agree with the findings of the examiner, like the school psychs testing, they have the opportunity, and they always have that right, to go out and have an independent person do that test, and the school picks up that charge. Now this policy, some of the larger districts have obviously dealt with this more. They have a policy in place that kind of limits whether or not travel's involved, because technically if they wanted to, and you don't have a policy, they could fly to Florida and have a psych examiner do something down there, and we'd be up for the expense. So they want us to put together some sort of a policy that just kind of limits things and makes them more reasonable. The Sioux Falls district actually has a tri-state situation because of where they're located. So I'll be bringing that policy forward when we learn a little bit more about the details of the policy.
Okay. Anything else on NESC? Mr. Case, timing is everything. We'll revert back to you. We've already discussed our resignation of our first grade teacher. Do you have anything else?
No, actually I didn't have anything else to share. Just got a little bit of work to do now to find a teacher. Yeah. So we'll see what's out there. Time will tell with that. So
Good.
yeah, otherwise, yeah, things are going pretty well in the elementary and middle school. So.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Case. Buildings and grounds, we've kind of covered that, but is there anything else we got on that, Jim?
No, I believe I covered everything that I hoped to this evening.
Okay. If not, I'm sure we'll catch it again. If we needed a special meeting, that is not a problem. All right. Policy first reading on activity. What was the name of the policy?
Activities funds?
Activities funds.
Yeah, basically that's just GASB law has changed. It's our trust and agency account, which those names have changed, but basically it's just having a policy in writing that shows how we handle those accounts.
I looked through it. I didn't see any problems. Looked good to me. All right. That's it. Next meeting is, we don't have any executive session because we've already covered that. Next meeting will be Monday, November 8th, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Veterans Day?
Nope. Veterans Day is November 11th, Thursday.
Time change to 7.
Oh, okay. Monday, November 8th, 7 p.m. All in favor, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thanks, Joel. Second. Thank you, Aaron. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.